to the I Ching Cafe. My name is Belinda Doveston, and it is wonderful that you are here with me for our weekly I Ching forecast, this time for the week commencing the 27th of October 2025. Last few days of October, we will have a few days in November thrown in there. Let us get into just recapping last week before we get stuck into this week's flow. Last week we had a locked hexagram, hexagram 17, following. Learning how to stay true to what we are following, being leaders in letting other people follow us, creating a following because we have a strong following, something we follow, the lodestar that drives us forward. And perhaps purpose and focus and meaning were key parts of your week last week, as that idea of creating a following by following something meaningful came into your life. And of course, if there was anything that came up for you, please do share a comment, anything at all. All right, let's get into what this week is bringing us. We went from a locked hexagram, no changing lines, to this week, 4 changing lines. Okay, what that means is it means that every day and a bit, all right, we are clocking over new flows of change. The turnover is happening really fast when we have so many changing lines. All right, let's get into it. Our first hexagram for this week, our main flow of change, our main focus or theme for this week that we are working through is hexagram 26, Taming Power of the Great. Right. This hexagram, you can see the top trigram is mountain, okay, resting and sinking and holding back. And we have heaven on the bottom, the creative energy wanting to surge up and pull up. And so the idea of these two images created is our inner power, the bottom trigram, building up and wanting to express itself and move forward, but there's resistance and there's a focused force on the external that is slowing that down. Okay. What this hexagram brings to us as a learning journey is learning how to harness the force. Okay. We build up the energy. We don't dissipate the energy by lots of action and lots of talking and lots of externalization. We build up the energy and we harness the force. Okay, yes, so think Star Wars. Think Kung Fu Master. Okay, think Tai Chi Man. Okay, whatever comes into your mind, think of the idea of this chi, or this energy, this force, building up and being focused, okay? And then when it is needing to be used, wah, okay, it can be used with amazing power and precision. So when we work with this hexagram, what we're doing is we're learning how to focus and consciously build up our energy, our internal creative flow, and harness it and focus it and apply it in a very precise manner. Okay, we're not blah, 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 blah. Okay, we are building up the energy. And when the time is right, we are moving forward with the energy. So you can definitely have that visual in your mind of the Tai Chi master, the Kung Fu master, whatever it is, Qigong, that idea of that energy being built up. And as you are building up that energy, the focus, the movements are slow, precise, focused moves. That is what we are working with this week. So what is contraindicated for this week is wild force. Okay, just wild energy of running and screaming and just, okay, mature adult Kung Fu master energy. Okay, right, Mr. Miyagi. Okay, so we work with this idea that we need to focus ourselves. Okay, we need to pull ourselves together, as it were, this week to harness our inner strength. Our inner strength could be wild and just peppered everywhere. Okay, that is not going to get us the value we need in this week. And of course, when we get this hexagram, you must know that what is going to come up is this life circumstance that's going to make us want to be wild, okay, with our energy. Because that's why we are getting it this week. We are learning how to take a breath, harness the breath down into the solar plexus, not rapid panic breath up here. Focus the breath. Okay. So that is the challenge we are here to develop and work on this week. And whenever you come across a situation in this week where, you feel the rapid breath, okay, Take it down. Like literally, if you're going to do breath work, this is the week it's going to add value. Okay, so for changing lines, let us whip through the 4 particular things we're paying attention to. So the changing lines in this hexagram largely point to the obstacles we're trying to overcome in this idea of harnessing our force. Okay, things that we need to overcome in this journey of harvesting, focusing, directing. Okay, changing line 1, 2, 4, and 6. In position 1, this changing line says, yes, you have an urge to advance, okay, to be wild, okay, and just to push forward. It is not the right thing. Do not advance. Okay, so as we start the week, there's an energy here where we want to just do something. Okay, just as long as I'm doing something, I feel better. Okay, we've all been in that situation where we face a challenge, we face a situation, and we're like, well, as long as I'm doing something, at least I'm moving forward. There's something here as we start off the week where that is not what the I Ching suggests. Instead, do not advance. Don't attack this thing. Don't go out on a thing. You'll have to work in your own life, what part of your life this relates to, what issue that you're up against, where you want to just go out and attack it, right? And just go out and do something, just keep moving. And actually on this particular issue, do not push. You pull back for now when the time is right. Okay, so that's learning how to really mature our ability to see where we're wanting to push at all costs and that not being the right thing. Okay, but the energy moves. Okay, so as soon as we're out the gate with that changing line, we hit into changing line 2. Okay, changing line 2 says, now the obstacle is not one where we could advance but we shouldn't. This is an obstacle where we are brought to a standstill. The axle of the wagon and the wagon part, there's a collapse process. Whether we have taken them apart or whether they have broken is irrelevant, but there is a process of our ability to move forward has come to a stop. And because the obstacle is so large, you can't push. You just accept. Okay, got it. Okay, so there's something here this week where the obstacle might be a totally different issue to number 1, where the obstacle we face necessitates accepting the stoppage, accepting and being prepared, the maturity of accepting that we just have to wait this thing out. Okay, this particular thing, it might be a particular issue for you in your life, something that you're waiting on, something you wanted to advance on, but it's just you realizing you see it straight away. This thing is not going to go forward in a hurry. We have to just accept it. And, you know, this changing line, I swear, we'll have to check real data to check it, but I swear, whenever this changing line comes up, there's a problem in my life or my business or my family's life around a vehicle that breaks down. And literally a few days ago, that had already kicked in. So if you feel some of these things happening in the week prior and the tail end of the previous week, I often see there's a bit of an overlap. You can start to see the new energy coming in. Yep, lo and behold, here we are again. All right, axle on the wagon part. So it's where we accept and just realize, okay, now it's beyond trying to push it. Like we just understand that, okay, it's going to take its own time and we just have to be patient. So none of these lines are saying it's the dead end of the road on a particular issue. It's just understanding when it's time to harness the force, the breath, and when it's time to blow out that force. All right, in position 4. Okay, there's a strong image throughout this hexagram of the young bull or the bull as a symbol of like bull in a china shop. Okay, think about changing line number 1. You could see that as a bull in a china shop, just wanting just to go, 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 this wild force and smashing everything in sight. Here in position line 4, what the advice is that when the horns of the young bull are still little nubs, okay, the idea is you fasten on a piece of wood so that as these horns grow out, they become incapacitated to cause damage from the wildness of this young bull. Okay, so what that speaks to is that it's talking about taking preemptive steps on areas of wildness. Okay, we all have wild thinking, wild behavior, and I'm not saying wild as in creative and innovative. I'm talking about uncontrolled, unfocused wildness. And part of this process is either in a situation or within ourselves, within a colleague, within a team, is checking the wildness when it's easy to nip it in the bud. Okay, so what we do is we tune into our lives and we say, where is this wild behavior in our situation? Where do we just, okay, let's just do it, or just let's just go, or we'll work it out as we go. Where is that energy for you, either in yourself or someone that is in your environment, in your question, in your thought process at the moment? And what do we need to do to check that wildness? Okay, take preemptive action on this issue way ahead so we protect ourselves from the wildness to come, okay, our own or others. And so it's about thinking, about paying attention to our environment and being tuned into where is this wild, uncontrolled force likely to cause us some trouble. Check it early. Put those wooden planks on so that as this thing evolves, you protect the environment and what you're creating from the wildness that will mature over time. All right, position 6, last changing line. This is sometimes a difficult position, but this one is a great one. This says the problem, the challenge, the obstacle, the hindrance has been overcome. The energy that you've been building up and storing and focusing and churning over and building up through this hexagram can finally be released. Okay, it can be unleashed to do its magic. Okay, so there's something around an energy building up. You might even feel it throughout this week of energy building up, and by the time we get to changing line 6, whatever has been difficult, whatever we are working on, where we require all this focus and we require all this harnessed force, the out-breath can happen, right? We can be released from it and we can then move forward. Whatever's been restricting us, whatever's been holding us back, moves us forward. Okay, so great to have that wonderful release and triumph line as we've been working through these challenging, changing lines this week, okay? Holding back, restraining, preempting, and then, okay, we are passed through the obstacle. We are released to move on to the next thing. That gives us a second hexagram, okay, for changing lines or any changing lines, gives us a second relating hexagram. I see them as flows interacting with each other. And our second hexagram is the inverse number-wise of the first. It's hexagram 62. Attention to the details. Okay. Now, this hexagram brings us the idea of how important it is to stay grounded. Okay. When we get this hexagram, what we're being drawn to pay attention to is what's on the ground in front of us. Practical, close to sight, okay, here and now. The idea is that we are not eagles flying up into the sky, okay? I've spoken many times about the idea of the story of Icarus. I'm sure that you remember that, but this is not about the bird flying up. It's about the bird staying close to the ground, okay? All right, because the energy is not right for us to soar and go into outer realms. What would be even better is if we had to embrace the totem animal of the chicken this week, as I've said many times before, and literally have our eyeball right close to the ground. Okay, every little seed, pick, 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 pick. This is a week where we are paying attention to the details. We are paying attention to the little things. We're giving every little thing, every practical consideration right in front of us, the here and now, our absolute attention. We are staying focused on what the moment needs from moment to moment. Okay, we're not overthinking and we're not, looking too far ahead into the future. We are just present with what is in front of us, what is on the ground, what is practical, and what is now. And that is how we master this moment, because those little gems that we are picking up, they look like little seeds, but they're little gems that accumulate into a powerful energy for us. In a way, we have an energy of accumulation and our focus in both hexagrams. And the second one says it's through the details, through the small things, that our energy really accumulates. So we work with this week, lots of focusing and in breaths, focused energy, okay, not a lot of wild action. We don't want to be wild bulls. We want to be focused on our energy, decisive, purposeful, directed, understanding when it's time to advance, when it's time to pull back, when it's time to accept the obstacle on a particular issue is too great for now, where we preempt the issue by putting in place our safety checks, our safety balances and things ahead of time. And when we realize that it's time to act, and finally that energy we've been working on accumulating can be released and can move forward through those details that we apply every day. Very interesting. Okay, we are wrapping up October. The monthly overview was pretty intense. Okay, we had that second part with Hexagram 29, the abysmal, all that water pumping. So if you felt this intensity of challenge and things and flow and action, the energy will shift as we move into November. The overview coming soon. And I wish you a wonderful week working with the I Ching. If you liked this episode and found value in it, a thumbs up, a like would be great. And of course, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and the bell or the follow button on the podcast. And I look forward to connecting with you very soon for our monthly overview for November. Until then, take care.